Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. These are prototypes. This is, once again, from Grambeau Knives, the Assetto. We've got two different versions of it here. These are front flipper knives. And very cool. These are also, much like the Russ, manufactured by Bestech, and you'll have to check down in the description. Not sure when this video is going to go up, but the pre-order may still be available. There's just a couple of things that are going to change about these knives, but I'm going to go ahead and review them like anything else on this channel. Thanks so much to Grambeau Knives for sending these in for me to take a look at. Appreciate that. Thanks to my generous patrons who are supporting me. There's a link for Patreon right down below. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. One of these is a titanium frame lock, and one of them is a titanium bolster lock with a micarta scale slash overlay. Just to save some space for a sec, I'm going to move the frame lock version off camera, and we're going to do size comparisons. Actually, first, measurements with just this guy. Overall length of the Grambeau Assetto coming in at about 7.5 inches. Blade length coming in at about 3 1/4. Cutting edge coming in just about 3 1/8. Let's take a look here real quick at the changes that are going to be made. That's not going to take too long. Here's the Assetto. It says changes for final production version. Sorry, I accidentally nicked my finger. Oh, look at me making puns now. During the the Knife Guy episode with Nick Shabazz. Anyways, changes for final production version. It says handle is going to be thinner and lighter, and the hardware is going to change from T6 to T8. Outside of that, everything is going to remain the same. I'm indifferent about the handle thickness, and I'll explain why here in a sec. But the T6 to T8, I think, is a good thing to change there, so that's great. Size comparisons. Up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2, you can see here it's closer to the size of the Rat 2, but still a bigger knife all the way around. Up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Definitely, once again, closer to the size of the smaller one. In fact, almost, I think it's identical. Is it? What did I? I know the Para 3 is 7 1/4. There we go. Did I say 7 1/4? I think it's at 7.5 of this guy. It's a 1/4 inch longer than the Spyderco Para 3. And last but not least, let's do the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Benchmade Bug Out. Once again, much closer to the size of the smaller size comparison knife here. More bug out sized, but still, yeah, geometry is definitely bigger. These are manufactured by Bestech, and the quality absolutely shows through. These are also designed expertly, so edges that need to be knocked down and corners and weird. There's not a lot of stuff sticking off of this knife that shouldn't be. There's not a lot of lines that go nowhere or don't make sense. This was designed by someone who knows how the human hand should interact with a knife, which sounds like something that would be a no-brainer. As somebody who has handled lots and lots of knives, let me say this, you'd be surprised. More often than not, knives don't seem to be designed for the human hand. Rather an octopus or someone who has pine cones for hands or something, not hands and fingers. This knife is designed for the human hand, which is something that I appreciate. And the quality is absolutely there. I would do a hardware check, but it's, the pivot's a T8. These are all going to change to T8, so there you go. Materials on these, we're looking at M390 titanium and micarta, or M390 and titanium. We've got one with a tumbled blade right here. Looks great. Satin up on the swedge, but tumbled. And then this guy, oh no, it's exactly the same. They must both be like this. Not sure if he'll be offering them with all satin or all tumbled. Either way, they look good. I really don't have much of a complaint there. Let's go ahead and let's do carry profile. So the thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. These are going to get thinner. So as they sit, not super thick, definitely thicker than the Para 3 scales. I would say, it looks like it's going to be probably closer to, probably not exactly the same, but closer to same thickness as the Para 3. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3, you are looking at a body that's about the same length, maybe a little longer than the Para 3. Definitely shorter than the PM2. And because it is a front flipper, even with the height of this peak up here, it comes nowhere near the max height of the PM to Repair 3. So should be pretty friendly to the pocket. Weight. Probably going to be a difference in weight between the micarta and titanium versions, but probably not that much. 3.03 ounces for the micarta variant. 3.56 ounces, so there's maybe a half an ounce difference. These will get a little bit lighter if he's going to thin up the scales, but probably not that much. 0.2 ounce difference maybe in the final production form. I have no idea. Something like that. Blade stock thickness on these guys, I think that's the last thing I need to measure. They're both the same, so we'll just do one here. Blade stock thickness coming in at 135 thousandths. So there you go. All right, can we move into the main part of the review here, the Assetto. So this is a front flipper only. If you're gonna do a front flipper only knife, it needs to be basically perfect. And yeah, this is done incredibly well. There's really no need to alter anything. The jimping's good, the detent is good, the little front flipper unicorn horn is in the right place. This is easy to do. I have no complaints with the way that it is deployed. If you don't like knives that are all front flipper, right, then there's no reason to continue. If you're just flat out, if you're like, I'm not gonna buy a knife that's only a front flipper, there's no reason to keep watching. This is just a front flipper. That's the only way that you can deploy it. So that's one of those things. You know, there was a time where, you know, as we transitioned from traditional pocket knives with nail nicks, right, whether they're locking or non-locking, all folding knives were pretty much two-hand operation. And then came along the newfangled thumb stud or flipper mechanism. I don't know too much about all this fancy one-handed nonsense, but where I come from, knives are open with two hands. Obviously, I'm making a joke here. At one point in time, the flipper tab was considered this, you know, silly, fidgety thing that was all pomp and frill and had nothing to do with, you know, ease of manipulation or convenience. Of course, nowadays, we don't look at flippers like that or thumb studs like that, right? A one-handed operating knife is one that, if it's, you know, done correctly, is viewed as substantially more convenient. There are still people who might disagree, and I would venture to guess those people exclusively carry traditional pocket knives. But I would say almost universally considered an easier, you know, they're just easier to manipulate, right? Even something as inexpensive as the Rat, it's just easier to manipulate. So while the front flipper might be, you know, right now viewed as kind of this like fidgety, kind of fussy way to open your knife, once you get it down, it's just like anything else. You'll adapt to it and it'll be second nature. And you know, the more that I play with front flipper knives, being somebody that prefers thumb stud or flipper knives or both, you know, over the front flipper, it's probably, if I dig deep enough, it's probably because I'm just more used to them. If I was forced to adapt to a front flipper every day, you bet that I'd have it figured out and it probably would become more of a preference than anything else I've experienced, right? So it just depends. But this is done well, is what I took 3 minutes to say. Ergonomically, so these are, the scales are all contoured. The bolster, in this case, everything's contoured, very nice. This is all one just continuous curved line, right? There's a little tiny bit of change in terrain right there, just peak and then back down, right? So little teeny tiny hint of lock-in. It's very comfortable, but also it's not like, I don't feel like I'm gonna drop this, and it's because the back end curves out like this. There's also not a lot stopping you from running your finger up onto the blade, so you need to be cognizant of where your hands are, which is, you probably will be. I'd say you're actually more at risk of doing that if you're wearing gloves, right? If you're barehanded, you're kind of, you know, like, oh, I'm now transitioning from this part of the knife to the blade, which is sharp, right? So yeah, ergonomically, it's comfortable. There's just not a lot of a lock-in. If he decides to lean up the scales, as long as they're still contoured, it's going to be comfortable. In this case, I actually prefer the extra meat because I feel like it's thin enough, and I like the contouring. I wouldn't want it to be any thinner personally, but this is my knife. I didn't design this, right? He's going to make his choices there, and that's fine. Some people might prefer it to be a bit thinner. Very good, though. The pivot, everything is very clean looking. Everything's very classy looking. It looks like a cool knife, but at the same time, it's not doing anything unnecessary, right? It's got a nice sort of cool, unique look. It's not like this has never been done before, but it's got a nice continuous flow, looks good, and all of the lines are functional. It's interesting that the jimping did not extend up this ramp here. It kind of stops right here, but okay, not that it really needs it, right? The edge, nice and thin. Very pointy, pokey blade, very thin down here at the edge. That'll be a nice performance-oriented blade for sure. There's a bit of a flat right here. Not much in the way of material, right? This is not going to be, I mean, you know, once again, you should not be using your knife for anything except for knife tasks. No matter what your dad or grandpa tells you they used to use their pocket knives for. Back in my day, it was knives were hammers and screwdrivers and pry bars. Great. I bet their blades were also dull too, making the knife anything but a knife for them. I can't stand it. Use knives for knife stuff. Use tools for other things, right? It doesn't sound cool to say, I took a tool that was made for one specific thing and used it for a whole bunch of other stuff it really wasn't made for. So I have a mediocre sort of universal tool, and it can no longer do the thing that it was actually designed for. So that's how we do it where I'm from. Anyways, I haven't done the Hank Hill voice in a while. Yeah, very good for, you know, knife things, for sure. It's the cutout here. You can see the lock bar is actually raised. There's like a peak right here. Whoops. But that works. I just want some type of, you know, some area where it's easier to get at the lock bar rather than having them both, like both the lock bar and the show side to be flush, and then you have to like push down and over. I don't like to do that, but you can get at it from the side. So I like that. The action's nice and smooth. A little bit of a wiggle shut action. I think I was holding on to the bolster lock there. A little bit of a wiggle shut action, but nice and smooth and consistent. Knives don't need to fall shut to have good action or quality pivot smoothness or anything like that. It feels good. I like it. Transition from the bolster to the micarta. In this case, it looks good. The micarta looks good. Nice and smooth. A little bit, you know, micarta has a little bit. It's not like polished micarta, but it's also not like burlap. That stuff that feels like, I don't know, like what you would, like mummy wrappings. That's what I assume they wrapped mummies in, was burlap micarta. I don't really like burlap, sorry. This is the kind of micarta I like. It looks good. A couple of screws right here, that's fine. There's probably a couple more underneath here, so if you're gonna disassemble it, just know you're gonna go 1, 2, probably 3, 4 on each side, plus the pocket clip. So there's gonna be a few screws, not really that big of a deal. Backspacer, this guy is gonna be a little bit easier because you just have 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it's a frame lock, so that's fine. Backspacer back here. That's really all the difference. Looking over to this side. Pocket clip is good. I kind of wish it was a little bit shorter, but truthfully, because it's contoured and just straight, there's no like going up into the middle of your hand. It's fine. Just a popsicle stick that kind of tapers ever so slightly down to this point. It's good. It'll work. Continuous rise, right? Nice smooth surface. Either way, a little bit more friction on the micarta, no big deal. Steel lock bar insert on both knives, doubling as the over travel stop. Easy. If they, oh, I almost did that. Can we dual wield the front flippers? Okay, ready? Yeah! It felt a lot cooler than it looked. Yeah, this one, the frame lock feels like it's got a little more tension. Yeah, bolster, I mean, but that would make sense because it gets thinner much earlier. And the relief cut on the frame lock's way down here, so yeah. If you like it to be a little bit stiffer on the detent, probably go with the frame lock version, a little bit lighter. I'd go with this guy. This guy feels just perfect. This just feels not tight, just a tad tighter, right? I just prefer this one, but they both, and also because it doesn't matter where my fingers are while I'm front flipping because my card is covering 90% of the lock, whereas this guy, it's all exposed, so you still have to kind of, you know, maybe rest your fingers on the pocket clip, but plenty good. No blade play on the frame lock, no blade play on the bolster lock, no pivot lash on the bolster lock, no pivot lash on the frame lock. Clicky, nice clicky detent there. Same thing. Centering, good. good. No lock stick on either of them. These are good. If you like front flippers, I mean, this is the thing. This is a nice size, good materials, right? Price, much like the Russ. If you actually convert it to US dollars, you're coming out to about 280 to 285, something like that, which I think is fairly competitive. Personally, I like the Russ a lot better. It fits my preferences, but you know, this is a well-designed front flipper, a really, really well-designed front flipper. And it would be a fantastic EDC, a nice high-quality EDC. Like I said, the theme here, at least between these two designs, these two knives and the Russ, the theme that I'm noticing is nothing is kind of, oh yeah, I'm sorry, by the way, for people who, you know, for the, like, I'm sure, how many of you are left that like lanyards? 4? For you 4 people, there's a lanyard bar there. The theme here with Grambeau knives seems to be no unnecessary knots. Like, it still looks good. There's still style and design work and just interesting. You know, it looks cool. But it's a tool. It's a, you know, well finished, really nice tool. The designs are good. The design language works, right? I'm really excited to see what else Kane Grambeau releases in the future, because these are really good. I still like the Russ better, but it's just a good knife. If you get in on the pre-order, I think you're going to be happy with this. I think these ship in July, if I remember what the website said. It's probably about the same for the Russ. So yeah, there you go. I don't know when you're watching this, but I was referring to shipping July of 2022. The time that I'm recording this right now is in late February of 2022. So yeah, these will be going on my recommended knives playlist. Very good. Very happy with these. I think that's going to be pretty much it today. Thanks again to Mr. Grambeau for sending these in for me to take a look at. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on the Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.